Dr. Kildare.
I'm Jerry House.
Just what is it you want, Mr. House?
Well, Doc, I don't want you to go out of your way or anything, but I was wondering if you could do something about the sheets.
The sheets?
Yeah, make sure they're ironed.
Mr. House, this is not the Beverly Hilton, and I'm not the matron in charge of laundry.
Nah, don't get all hard-nosed about it, Doc. It's just my job. She's a very valuable property.
She's also a patient on this service, and she'll get the same treatment as any other patient.
Well, I got a piece of news for you, Doc. She's just not an ordinary patient. You go to movies?
I seldom have the time.
Anyway, you're about to get Kathy Stebbins up here.
The actress?
Well, there's only one Kathy Stebbins, Charlie. She's $1 million property after taxes. So you hold that good thought.
This is Shogun, the staggering saga of feudal Japan. The story of ruling warlords battling for ultimate supremacy. They are challenged by a stranger from across the seas, John Blackthorne, the one man with the power to change Japan's destiny for all time. This is the opening chapter of the 6-part presentation starring Richard Chamberlain and Toshiro Mifune, the epic tale of power and passion, beauty and tragedy. That is Shogun.
I must go soon.
I expected that. It's funny how you always show up for life's great crises and then just melt away like the Holy Ghost.
I'm sorry you're not happier about the baby.
What I wouldn't give if she were yours instead of Luke's.
Maggie.
Oh, Ralph. Why must the church have all of you? Even that part of you she has no use for. Your manhood.
You already know the answer to that, my Maggie. It is a necessary sacrifice.
Oh.
I was dealing with two things in terms of being gay. One was a kind of self-dislike, which I'd grown up in the 30s, 40s, and 50s when being gay was not an option. And there was the terrible, terrible danger of being outed because I was a romantic lead, for God's sake. That was my whole career, practically. And to be outed at that time would have been disaster. And it wasn't until I was about 68 when I was writing that book. It was as if an angel had put her hand on my head, it's going to make me cry, and said, it's over, you know. All that part is over. All that negative stuff is over. Being gay is one of the least interesting facts you can know about a person. And soon the book was published, and I was out soon after that. I was out on national television, and of course all they wanted to talk about was what it was like being a gay actor in Hollywood. And I was fine. I had no fear left at all. It was a wonderful, wonderful experience, and people were so open and friendly and sweet, and nobody threw rocks at me, and it was great.
Somebody big just died. Beloved actor Richard Chamberlain is dead at 90 years old. And my friend Mike North is here to deliver his eulogy. Mike, how are you, my friend?
Good. I got a little bit of a peak on the left side of my hair tonight. I don't know. I think it's slanting a little bit. I don't know what I got. I know, Joe. I'm sorry. You know, I understand. But I got good. It's good to see you.
Good to see you.
It almost looks like a toupee here, you know, but but that's beside the point. First of all, let's get through the sponsors, and then we'll talk about the great Richard Chamberlain. First of all, we wouldn't have the show, and it's good to be back with everybody again. If it wasn't for Cumberland Chapel's funeral home, the Lupos, the Martinos, 8300 West Lawrence Avenue, Norwich, Illinois. Check them out at cumberlandchapels.com. All the information you need, serving families with dignity and grace. Just great people, testimonials. They know how to handle you if it's a first-time experience, if you've been there before, if there's been something that you need to add, if you something that you need from them. Plenty of space. Look at these wonderful people. They all have been served at Cumberland Chapels. It's a northwest side, northwest suburb type of place. It's, where Chicago runs into Norwich, and it's just a place that's known as and respected. So check out Cumberland Chapels if you can at 8300 West Lawrence Avenue, 708-456-8300. And I was just over at Pennyville Station the other day, and with my buddy and Tino Antonacci. I had our our belated St. Joseph family table there. We celebrate St. Joseph's Day. The Rini family, the Dursos, every year. We used to have them at our home, then we had them at restaurants. Well, we had it at Pennyville Station, one of their great private rooms. Outstanding service, great people. I don't know who these three knuckleheads are, but just a great place. We had some great stuff there, and Tino Antonacci helped us out, and Tony Antonacci's son is the proprietor, 112 Main Street, Park Ridge, Illinois, 847-720-4841, Pennyville Station.com. All right. First of all, I know he was 90, but he was in pretty good shape.
Yeah, he was.
He was living in Hawaii. I don't think he officially had retired. He died at 90, born March
Almost 91, Mike, a couple of days away from 91.
Yeah, March 31st, 1934. Died March 29th, and just missed his birthday by 2 days, like Joe says. At one of my favorite places, which I've never been to, but it just sounds like it would be fun. Waimanalahalo, Hawaii, ladies and gentlemen. Born in Beverly Hills, so he had some inside connection. Really good-looking guy, likable guy. Okay, went to Pomona College, actor, singer. Years active, he retired in 2019. From 1958 to 2019, his partners were Wesley Urey, 1975 to 1976, and Martin Rabet, 1977 2010. Hey, he was in the Army, served in the United States military from 56 to 58. He was a sergeant. The great Richard Chamberlain. And when I say that, let me just lay everything out here. The guy had a fantastic career. He was the king of the miniseries.
Yes, he was.
I didn't get into Shogun. I wasn't into Shogun. I'm not into the, that type of miniseries. Thornbirds is one of the best miniseries ever made. Period. End of story. With the great Byron Brown, who married Rachel Ward after the movie was done.
Crazy.
A wild thing, a little bit during the movie. You know what I'm saying? And this guy on the left, I don't know who he is, but he was like one Elvis's sidekicks in like Girl Happy and some of the other things. This guy here, Richard Chamberlain, when we were kids, this series was highly successful from 1961 to 1966. The guy was a great actor. There's no doubt about it. He had a good run, somewhat like James Garner, who was in Maverick in the late 50s, early 60s. Then went into the movies. Then came back and did Rockford Files. This guy, he did a different path. In 1980, 14 years after Dr. Kildare, he does Shogun. I didn't like it that much. I didn't watch the whole thing. It's good to see Toshiro Mifune, he of Bridge on the River Kwai, back in the day. There he is. He played if you remember in that movie with William Holden, 1957, the captain or whatever they call it, of the Japanese forces. Here, Richard, and there she is. Put it on hold. Can we put it on hold?
I do not have a pause function. Sorry.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. So I turn on one night. Me and B lived on Belle Plaine and Whipple in Chicago, which means something to the people that watch around the nation, but it's a Northwest Side place. And hot apartment, we're laying around, and what are we going to watch? And we turn on this Thornbirds because we hear Barbara Stanwyck's in it. And Barbara Stanwyck was the most, at the time, Barbara Stanwyck was in the 1940s the wealthiest woman in America. She made the most money as a movie star. And she was in Double Indemnity and some other great movies. And then she did The Big Valley later on, a Western. But He was an older woman interested in this bishop, and she wanted to go to town. She was the original cougar, and she she looked old. She didn't look like a glamorous cougar, you know. She had the white hair and everything. But so I'm watching it, and for the first time ever, I saw Rachel Ward, and I go, not in front of B, you know. We're watching it just in the head. I go, holy Christ, good looking woman, beautiful. And Richard Chamberlain said the greatest honor of his life was Barbara Stanwyck, working with her, and I could see that. And the sad part was Richard Chamberlain had absolutely no interest in Rachel Ward. None.
None.
Okay? None. Hey, Joe, on cue.
That's
It's
right.
love. Now, people don't realize, you know, I get a kick out of people because in there it is shattered love. Richard Chamberlain. Okay, I'm going to tell you first about this guy. All right. Okay, put the banjo down, Richard. Oh, well, the guitar. Look at yeah, just tremendous showboat. Did some great stuff. He was in a play with Mary Tyler Moore. Breakfast at Tiffany's. It bombed. My Fair Lady was okay. Okay. When we were kids, we'd go to school and we'd say, hey, what'd you watch last night? I watched the Beverly Hillbillies. How about you? What'd you watch? Maverick. What'd you watch? The Rifleman. What'd you watch? Dr. Kildare. And then the kid, I can't watch doctor movies. You know, he goes, I'm a hypochondriac. Everything. I couldn't watch too much of it because every time I watch it, if there was somebody with a brain tumor, I got the brain tumor. But it also was interesting. And Raymond Massey played Dr. Gillespie, who's a great actor. Raymond Massey, great actor. But when we were going to school, we heard the rumors about a lot of movie stars about being gay. He wasn't one of them. Okay?
Yeah.
We heard Rock Hudson, Johnny Mathis, Sal Mineo, you know, which at the time, if it got out, it wasn't a good thing.
No.
We knew gay actors and gay people by the way they acted also, Joe, if you remember. Paul Lynde, the Center Square from Hollywood Square. You knew he was gay. Charles Nelson Riley, you knew he was gay. You know, you knew from the making. Never meant a thing to me. Never cared. I went to acting school. I studied under David Mamet. I went to the St. Nicholas Theater Company. I thought I was going to be the next Steve McQueen. Didn't work out. But I studied acting with all different types of people. And it never meant a hill of beans to me. And so we all would go to school. And, you know, kids joke around. I never knew how people knew Rock Hudson was gay until I started reading later on that he did pool parties where there'd be 17 guys walking around naked. You know?
No,
right,
thank you.
Not normal. This guy didn't parade it. He didn't wave.
Not at all.
He didn't have a flag. He said it's the least interesting part about him as a gay person. He tackled it head on. But for these people back then to say he should have come out, or people now, he should have come out, or even actors that say, you know, black people shouldn't have allowed white people to be in blackface. The times were so different. You didn't dare do anything like that. You didn't come out in 1960 and say, I'm gay. You're done.
Well, that's what he said himself in the open. He said, you know, I'm a romantic lead. That would be the end of my career.
Right. There are actors today that won't come out. There are actresses that don't come out because people think two things. One, it will ruin me, but two, it's none of your business. A lot of people, gay people, bisexual people, heterosexual people still feel that way.
Absolutely.
So my point is, the guy was such a great actor that you thought he was getting laid by a different chick every night.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, he's certainly a handsome guy.
Yeah. Take it easy now. I know. I don't want to start any rumors. But, Yeah, that's all that you need, kid. You do this, you don't have no problems. You do this if you're walking down the street. Or you know what else, kid? Yeah, like that. Anyway.
Yeah, the hair toss.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, when he came out, it was shocking to me. Okay? Not that I gave a damn. Nobody ever said, hey, you know that Richard Chamberlain on Dr. Kildare? Yeah, that guy's gay. You know, we didn't say the word gay back in the 60s, folks. Sorry. It wasn't even invented then. You know, you said different things. Period. I'm just being honest. You know, everybody thinks everything started in 2000. No.
Well,
okay.
It was some French magazine in the I think it was 1990.
It outed him.
Outed him.
Imagine that. Because otherwise, and then he writes the memoir.
He never acknowledged it until the book.
Right. And then once he wrote the book, it didn't matter. That's the whole thing about this. We don't care. I don't care. If look, I found out that Randolph Scott. Okay, you know who Randolph Scott is?
I do not, Mike.
I type him in and put his picture up. We're going in a different direction just for a second.
Randolph Scott?
Now, I was born in 1952, so I'm watching cowboy movies in 1958, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63. You know, he retires in 1961, but I'm watching his movies now. Randolph Scott, cowboy. Okay.
I got a picture. Hang on. I'm posting it.
That's good. Put it up because I want to show how. Here's another guy that nobody knew. That was my guy. Him and Roy Rogers were my guys. Okay. I mean, this guy was the best cowboy. It was John Wayne, Roy Rogers, Gene Autry, and Randolph Scott. You read up. Okay. But you didn't find out till later. And I don't care. But when you first find out about it and you have a different image of a guy, he's the Oakland Raider logo. Did you know that?
I did not.
His face, he was friends with Al Davis, and they modeled the Oakland Raider logo, and you can look it up. Randolph Scott. So my point is, you weren't going to come out in 1940, 1950, 1960, Joe. It wasn't going to happen. 1970, 1980, 1990, maybe 2000. Maybe now. I mean, how many people in this country are probably gay? Millions. There he is. That was modeled after Randolph Scott. And if you read, maybe Joe could get the bio on it, on the Oakland Raider logo, because I think Joe is doubting my word a little bit on this.
No, I'm not doubting you at all.
No, when your head starts, when you're crinkling at the top, you know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
All right. So here we go. While you're looking for that, okay? He was in some great movies. Julius Caesar, 1970. The Three Musketeers, he played Araris. Towering Inferno with Paul Newman and Steve McQueen. Ladies and gentlemen, I rest my case. I'm not kidding you.
There it is. That's crazy.
Isn't it? I just showed Joe something that 99, wouldn't you say, Joe, % of the country doesn't know.
I don't think probably even less than that. Mike, right. I never knew that in my entire life. Thank you. I learned something new today.
Well, you know what? I'm proud because I don't care if he was gay. I didn't know back then when I was a kid. It didn't matter to me anyway, but he's my guy, man. Guy was a great cowboy. Anyway, the Four Musketeers, that is weird. That is crazy, isn't it?
That's
movie
nuts.
star.
Wow.
King Solomon's Mines. I mean, and then he did these beautiful television films, The Count of Monte Cristo, The Man in the Iron Mask, Casanova. Okay? This is what he's talking about. This is what Joe cut for us. That's I can't be telling people I'm gay. I'm Casanova. Well, it's not going to work.
Who's the Jason Bourne, the Bourne Identity?
Right. I mean, this guy, his television series, a ton of them. A ton of them. Twin Peaks he was in. Will and Grace. Touched by an Angel. a Shogun, the Thornbirds, just greatness. He got back with his man friend, Martin Rabbet or Rabbet. They lived together from 77 to 2010, but he went back out to sea to live with him, or they both ended up living in Hawaii.
That's
I
crazy.
can't tell you how big the guy was in 1980. I can't. 1970, 1989, from 1960 to like 1980. Yeah. Well, wait, go. I can't believe
Wanna
this.
see it again?
I just saw Trump's name on the thing. On the left, Marla Trump's. I mean, how long? So this is from the 90s, apparently.
Yeah, it was 1990.
Yeah. Yeah, the guy came out. Nobody gave him a hard time. Nobody cared because he was a likable guy. Now, I heard he was difficult to work with. I get tired of hearing that. Somebody said that about me once. I'm not difficult to work with.
It's not. Yeah, you're definitely not hard to work with, Mike. I can vouch for that.
I'm just saying. I just get here. I show up. I never miss a day of work ever. But you get this stuff out. So when somebody said on X, and you can check out this show on North to North and Joe Mandel, you see this and you go, you see some of the nonsense. I go, I don't believe he was difficult. You don't work that many years and that many jobs. Okay. But you know what he did? I'm happy that he got to live his own life. Okay.
Yeah, he found peace.
Found peace, which I think at the end of the day, I think was more important than anything he made. He seemed like a decent guy. He could have had any girl he wanted, but he didn't want any of them. That's just Joe. What do you want me to say?
That's how you know. Like
it's a sadness to me. But you know what? It's good for him that he liked it his way. Forget about it. You know what I mean?
He certainly
what I liked, he stayed private. He didn't say,
he's a very private guy. That's right.
So you know what? He's got to be missed. Once again, the Four Musketeers, Shogun, Centennial, Dr. Kildare, huge series. Made him. And he battled another show, Ben Casey, back in the day with the great Vince Edwards. So, yeah, I got a lot of useless information, but it's come in handy for me lately because a lot of my guys, a lot of my heroes, a lot of people been gone. From all you have to do is see George Foreman gone, and now see this gentleman, and just a bunch of them have been gone since we started this show, and we've been we were dead for a while, to put it bluntly.
No pun intended.
No pun. But now we're dead again, but in a good way.
That's right.
Yeah. We want to thank Joe. Joe, any parting words before we get out of here? Or I always ask you this. I forgot to ask you this. Did you know of him or any of his work? Or did you?
I did not know anything about Richard
Chamberlain. I love
Chamberlain.
when that happens. And what did you think? What impressed you about it?
Well, I just was going through and I was just seeing his resume.
Yeah.
And it's like, because, when you first look him up, I didn't know anything about him. And the first thing that comes up is he comes out as gay.
Yeah.
And then I go back and I look at his resume.
Yeah.
His resume is like action movies and, great miniseries.
He literally might have been the
heartthrob.
He might have been the first action hero, literally.
He's an action hero and he was a heartthrob. And then, it's not what I expected after I looked up his name.
Yeah, that's the fun of it when you do this, and sometimes you don't know, or sometimes I don't know. But yeah, he was a great guy, from what I understand. And you don't work with that many people, have that much influence. He had a lot of influence on me. I think he got pretty good play, better than some guys get, because maybe he was a liberal type of guy in Hollywood. Who knows? And because he was respected. Of course, Gene Hackman, we still haven't solved that case yet. I talked to a guy, a fellow cop the other day, who said the whole thing's weird. I don't care what they say.
It is weird.
He says, how's the dog locked up? Well, this guy's walking around. Yet two dogs are running around on the outside.
Well,
he says
it's really weird.
Yeah, so we'll keep track of that too, because that's what we do here. We're investigative reporters here on
That's right.
His died also.
And
Joe and I down we John the fedoras. Yeah,
that's right.
Anyway, to the family, And Siri, all kidding aside, to a guy I respected and to a guy I grew up enjoying watching as a kid, Richard Chamberlain. We eulogize you. Somebody big just died in the Cumberland Chapels and the Pennyville Station. To all you, thank you. Good night.